I'm going to say this right from the beginning. This is not going to be a technical comparison between the Leica Q3 and the new Sony RX1R Mark III. This is just my personal thoughts about mainly the user experience of those two cameras, and I was really conflicted about whether or not I should make this video because I've only using the Leica Q3, the 28mm version, for the last almost 2 years right now. And before you get mad and write comments like, how can you make a comparison if you didn't use the Sony one? I'm not going to do this like a comparison side by side, like image quality and stuff like that. I'm just thinking that, okay, let's just start with the video and then you'll understand why I decided to make this anyway. So first of all, I believe that there are a few kinds of photographer that will be really better with the Sony versus the Leica, and for me personally, I know the Leica is the better choice. I think that if you are a photographer who prefer to be much more in control of everything in your settings, like you're very used to like Sony system or even Canon or all the more traditional kind of systems to use, that you can control absolutely every single thing in your menu and be in full control of the situation, then maybe you will enjoy the Sony much more. Me personally, I tried Sony system menu. I just couldn't connect with it as much as, let's say, my Canon gear. But I think that specifically in the Leica system and the whole like menu and bottom setup, it's all so very clean and simple. It just forces you to focus on only going, maybe if you do street photography, on the street and just take photos, just focus on the scene alone and not try to get super technical and super into like what exactly you want from every single shot. I hope that makes sense. And the all button settings setup on the camera is really simple and friendly, user friendly in my personal experience. It's a very simple layout, and because it's not a technical review, I'm not going to talk about the flipping screen that this camera has versus the Sony and stuff like that, because I didn't try this. I'm going to say just that although the Sony is a bit smaller than the Leica, people like to say it in the video that it's like 45% less heavier than the Leica, I think that, and they're both full frame, like 60 megapixel. So although the Sony is slightly smaller than the Leica Q3, this is not like, let's say, the Ricoh GR3 or GR3X that I have here, that can actually fit into my pockets and I can really take this everywhere I go. It's not like that. It's still big enough, so you will have to have a special bag for that or a stripe that you will need to put on you. So the size of this and the weight, like the Leica Q3 is really not that heavy. I don't think that's the deal breaker here and the thing that will like tilt the situation of whether or not you should buy this one or the other one. It's nice that it's a full-size sensor that is smaller than the Leica. The other point that maybe will help you decide between the both cameras, you know, $6,000 camera after taxes and all, it's not an easy decision to make, is that, you know, Sony system, you can absolutely get into that system, into that Sony colors and Sony special features of the autofocus and the video and everything that Sony brings to the table. You can do it in much less in a very less expensive price. Whether the Leica versus the Leica, if you want to get into the Leica system, you don't have many cheap options. Maybe the new Leica Deluxe 8, but it's much lower megapixel sensor, and I don't think it's nearly come close to the Q system or the the Q lineup or the M1. It's just super different things. If you want to get into the Sony system, you can do it in a much affordable price versus the Leica that you need to invest that kind of price, like 6,000 and above, to get into that very unique lens sharpness, the image quality, the colors, the science of the color that Leica is super different from other companies. You know, when I upload photos from my Leica, and a lot of people say that they actually know that this is from the Leica most of the time just because of the colors. And there is something very true about that. I feel that when I'm going with the Leica, it's very different from any other system that I ever used. And it's true that what they say, that it's a kind of a community, like the Fuji community or the Ricoh and of course Sony has a community of its own, but again I think it's just much easier to get into that Sony community if you want for a very cheaper price than the Leica. Again, hope that makes sense. I just had to say here that I believe that if you're not one of the people that I mentioned that need a lot of control over the settings or looking for great autofocus, I believe that it's like impossible that you will be disappointed from the Leica Q3, and I don't know how you're gonna feel about the Sony. I am not saying that you will be disappointed, I just don't know. This is my personal experience with the Leica and how much I'm happy with it, and I think that it really comes down to what kind of experiment you're looking for when you're going to do your photography, whether it's street photography or whatever you're doing. And just be careful not to go with the Sony just because it's new and everyone talks about it. I think that's something that a lot of us do when we see new gear that really excite us. It's a full sensor and it's Sony, it's a prime fixed lens of f2. It's really exciting and fun to think about, but just be careful. Maybe try one of those cameras if you can on the store before, just rent them, don't rush into buy just the newest things. Again, this is just my personal opinion. And by the way, a few hours after I will upload this video, I'm going to do a live with the Leica Q3 outside. It's going to be some kind of a POV style photography where I'll go on the street and tell you what I'm seeing on the street with the Leica. It will be very fun to chat with you there, so make sure to join that. And if you're joining my membership new program, which I'm really excited about, you will get extra at least half an hour after that live. I'm going to do a live video just for membership every week, and this will be live, whether it's outside, inside. We're just going to have a lot of fun here talking about photography and behind the scenes stuff, so I would really be excited to see you there. And we're really small group right now because it started just a few days ago, but it's intimate, it's fun. Just try, maybe you will like it there. Please tell me in the comments if you're considering to buy the new Sony, or you're considering between the two camera. What are your thoughts about this? Maybe it will help other people that watch this video. Like the video if you did, it will really help the channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the live and in the next video.